the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 327 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Monday, July 1st, 2024. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, it's July already. It doesn't even feel like it.
We're halfway there, man.
It's crazy. Absolutely
halfway
crazy.
Halfway through it. It's been, I don't know. It's been a year. it's only gonna get worse. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't believe it's July already, man. Holy smokes.
It's nuts. I mean, even there's things throughout the summer that are like my milestones of the summer that let me know of where I'm at in the year without paying attention to the calendar. And one of those is the Money in the Bank and the Battle at Berlin. You know, those pop up. And when Money in the Bank was already coming up, it's like, holy crap, we'd normally be at Michigan that week. Yep. And of course that's not there anymore, but that was another one of those. And
we have the old man clock.
Yeah.
You know, where we just remember things from our youth and everything's changed. So,
well, and it's screwy too, because I was like panicking. It's like, because I saw the schedule and it's like, man, we go Pocono and then Michigan. And I'm like, what? How are we at Michigan already? But we got the freaking Olympic break in there too.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So it's like, geez, man, it's crazy. The hockey going so late this year. Winter was a lot later than normal for me.
Yeah.
And it's been interesting for sure.
Well, speaking of crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of crazy and going longer than it was expected to.
Yeah, just like our intro.
Yeah. The NASCAR Cup Series had a race yesterday, the Ally 400. We were starting to wonder if we were still going to be watching the race when we recorded the podcast.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We're going to have some discussion on this because you called it a circus, James.
It was a circus.
And I want to have that discussion because I didn't listen to DBC. I didn't listen to any podcasts at all this week. Didn't listen to DBC. I know that Brett and Freddie were bitching about it on social media, so I'm certain that they're on your side with this as far as it being a circus. Tell me, why was this a circus, James?
Oh, just these overtimes. Just crash, overtime, gas. I just can't. There's something about the repetitive wrecking that just grinds me to a halt every single time.
See, typically I would agree with you, but I feel like in this situation, first of all, I will acknowledge that the wreck that got us to this was
Cindric?
Two drivers in 30th.
Yeah, I know.
Running into each other. Austin Cindric and Noah Gragson.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess it benefited Gragson because he ended up, 10th? But that's the caution with 2 to go. So here's a look inside of what I was doing yesterday. So I watched the race, watched the first half of the race, a little bit delayed, and I caught up right before the rain delay. And so when that happened, I went downstairs and I came to my office when the race was starting back up, and I set up my computer on my desk and watched it on. I've got a 32-inch monitor, and it has the TV built in. So I just watched the race on the monitor with the computer in front of me, and I had the NASCAR line or the stats up in front of me, the running order, and it was about literally an exact lap ahead from the broadcast. So we're coming down, race is getting close, finishing up. I'm watching the battle, and then I look down at the screen with 2 to go, and I see the caution banner up at the top. And I had to do a double take. It's like, oh my God, the caution's going to come out. And then, of course, the caution comes out, and here we go. So I knew a lap before I saw it that there was going to be a caution. But so yeah, this is what got us into the mess. But the problem,
and you could just feel it coming too.
Oh yeah. But the thing is, so my reasoning that I don't feel like it was a circus. Yes, it was 5 attempts at an overtime. But if it would have just been, we drive into turn 1 and wreck, drive into turn 1 and wreck, drive into turn 1 and wreck, then yeah. But we had the fuel issues too, and that was part of it. And those issues are going to happen no matter where. If there's a fuel mileage issue, there's no way to get around that. So I don't really count those 2 wrecks essentially that happened because of the fuel, because of people running out of gas. I don't really count those towards the circus.
You said it's what would you say? It was a natural,
yes.
a natural circus.
I mean, this is what IndyCar is trying to avoid by not having overtime.
Yeah.
which, IndyCar has their own circuses. So, and Formula One has theirs and all that. I don't know. Here's my question to you. Okay, this was a circus. I'll side with you. This was a circus. What is the alternative?
I am getting to the point. You're gonna hate this.
I know.
You're gonna really hate this. I'm getting to the point where I'm either going to say one attempt and whatever happens and it's over, or just run the scheduled distance. I don't want to see it anymore. I am to that point now where I'm like, those are the two options that I would be acceptable of. I think run the scheduled distance. I'm getting to that point with all this.
The only true solution is to just do the scheduled distance and finish under caution, because you can't.
And I know people are going to hate that. I get that.
Well, people are going to lose their minds if that happens. Rightfully so, I think, because I'm sorry, we are sports entertainment. I know that wrestling and WWE has hurt that phrase, but we are sports entertainment. It is entertainment. It is sports. It's entertainment. So you want the ending to be entertaining. You want it to end, this is why hockey has 3-on-3 overtime. This is, that's why they have the shootout, all this stuff. So the problem is you can't limit the green, white checkers. And the reason for that is what Kevin Harvick did at Talladega.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what brought this about. You can't limit it, because when you know where the limit is, you can manipulate it. And that's what we're trying to avoid. So,
I had another wild idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Not that I'm saying this is a good idea or anything like that.
Is it along the lines of going till halfway and then having half the field go backwards, or is that's
that's Tony Stewart's idea. No, I don't think that I love this. By the way, I'm trying to put a label on this. Like, don't take me too seriously with this. I'm getting to the point where I would almost like to see the field be cut off at like the 10th or 15th place car.
Yeah.
And the rest of the field has to park. And when we finish the green, white checkered, it's like, let's let the real guys who have a chance to win this thing go after it. And the rest of you just go home, because you're just causing more of a problem. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I feel
and that's the thing too.
It's a stupid thing, but
that's the thing too, is how many of these are cars in, again, 20th on back getting in a wreck on the green, white checker.
It happens a lot. Yeah, it happens a lot.
However, a lot of this happened up front. So
yeah, this was wild circumstances.
And the fuel mileage thing, obviously, is what really made it crazy. I guess my argument for it, James, is how often does this happen? We've had this rule for how many years now? And this is the first time we've ever gone to 5.
This is the pushback against my take. It's like, yeah, it's very rare, but it's just every time we start stacking these overtimes, it just drives me insane.
But how many great finishes have we had because we have overtime?
I mean, this was a great finish.
Yeah.
This was a great finish.
It was.
This last lap was incredible.
Yeah, it was good.
We should say Joey Logano won.
Yes.
We'll talk about him.
Finally locks himself into the playoffs, even though he already won this year, but that was the All-Star race and it didn't count. So
yeah. Man, Aric, I'm just, I don't know, man. I just, these races, like, a lot of them are so good. And I know Nashville wasn't the best.
It's okay.
But for what, yeah, it was fine. I mean, Hamlin and Chastain was really good. Like, that was a really good, like, classic battle.
Yeah.
But I'm, it's like we have a consistency thing happening here lately, and I'm not looking at the numbers, but like stage 1, the guys are just out there riding around. We never have cautions in stage 1. Stage 2, you might get 1 or 2, but for the most part, things are fairly calm. And then when stage 3 gets there, it turns into it's just absolutely wild. Like, these stages are like Iowa was a little bit nuts, and then New Hampshire was nuts on the wets, and then we have 30 extra laps of caution here going. I mean, and I understand this point of it as well. Normally a lot of teams would come down, you want to salvage a good points day, right? You just come and you just put some gas in it and get a decent finish out of it. But the points don't matter to basically anybody. Everybody has a chance to win this race. They're going to try to do it, and they're going to try to lock themselves in the playoffs. It's such a valuable, NASCAR's mission to make these wins really matter. I mean, it has swung the pendulum so far in the win direction that everybody's gambling to try to make it happen. And I think that's what we saw a little bit of too, with these teams out there just, stretching the field beyond its limits.
Well, let me play something for you, because what you brought up there was interesting. I want to go back to the beginning of your statement that the first two stages are less eventful and then the last stage ramps up. Because I retweeted something that NASCAR Man put out this week, and I'm going to play it real quick. This was...
Oh, is this Kevin Harvick?
This was June 30th, 2012.
Oh, I know this clip. Okay,
yes.
Yeah.
Bruton Smith suggested that NASCAR scheduled caution flags during the race to break up green flag runs. This is Harvick. I think it's Harvick, Kenseth, and Edwards, I believe. I know Edwards and Harvick are in this. Here's what they had to say from this clip. Hold on. They're doing this live, so here we go.
Bruton Smith recently suggested that maybe throwing out some cautions to break up the long green flag runs. First. What's your take on that idea?
Same guy ruined Bristol.
Mandatory cautions? When we know when they're going to come out? No, not really.
I think it really could be dangerous for these car owners and things like that if you had mandatory cautions. You'd end up having more fluke winners and more fluke champions when it's all said and done.
Let's just start at the beginning. Let me just lay something out here for you guys. Is it everyone in this room, is it your understanding that when they throw the green flag, right, that the only reason another flag is going to come out, like a yellow one or a red one, before that checkered flag comes out, if there's a condition on the racetrack that is unsafe to continue the race? Is that what everybody understands? If we start getting away from that and we say, okay, halfway through the race, we're going to throw a caution, we're all going to line back up. Well, now it's two races, where the first race doesn't even matter. Now you just got a shorter race. The lead in basketball is a figurative one. It's a score. So it's as if you stop the quarter in basketball and then you even the score. In racing, I go out there and I gain an advantage. Maybe not this track, but at most tracks, I gain a big advantage. That caution erases that advantage. It's my opinion, my humble opinion. I'm not saying what's right or wrong, but it's my opinion that takes something away from the sport.
Huh. So, Carl, I mean...
Yeah,
kind of exactly Carl, similar to what you just said, almost.
Yeah, and honestly, I wasn't even thinking about that clip when you played it, but I did. Maybe in my subconscious, I did see this. But Carl talking there brought up something that you had just said a little bit ago too, when you talked about Chris Bell crashing. And I think that might have been the pre-pod.
Yeah, that was pre-pod.
You and I were chatting about a couple of things, and you were talking about Chris Bell crashing, and I thought about. How when Carl was talking, well, it's two different races. Technically, it's three races because Chris Bell, he earned 2 playoff points in this race, had 20 race points total, and didn't even have a very good day. When you think about the old school NASCAR where he had finished because he crashed out. So, we've got some of that covered, but it's still, the formula's been figured out. And Kyle Busch talked about this a few weeks back. Teams just pit halfway through the stage and then there's no strategy to it anymore, and then when you get to stage 3 it seems like it's just becoming more chaotic.
This was a great system when it was introduced because nobody knew how to deal with it, and as usual the smart guys have figured it out, and now they know how to play the system. And to be honest, the first year one smart team figured it out in Martin Truex Jr. And banked a bunch of playoff points, and then everybody figured it out after that. And I'm not saying that I want to go back to full races, because I don't. Honestly, I would love to just chop the first 2 stages off and just run the last stage, and that's it. Because I think that's why we have the excitement, because it's a short race, and like Edward said, you're re-racking at the end of the end of the second stage. You're re-racking, and that's your real race. We've got heat races again, basically, is what we have, like we did in the Xfinity series. Those heat races didn't mean anything.
You almost have to try to eliminate the pit stops
Right. I don't know what the solution is.
I don't know either.
And NASCAR's tried to shake it up.
This is a tangent, by the way.
Yeah, NASCAR's tried to shake it up. They've changed the length of the stages. They used to both be basically a quarter of the race. The first one was a quarter, the second one was a quarter, and the third one was the half. And now they've got to where the first stage is shorter, the second one's longer, the third one's longer. They do it different at a bunch of different tracks. So they're trying to make it different, but the problem is everybody knows how it works now, and that's what it is. Now, does it matter? No, not really. I mean, it's fine. You know that the third stage is going to be more exciting. So, okay.
Yep.
Fourth quarter basketball is more exciting. The fourth quarter football is more exciting. You know, third period of hockey is more exciting. It's just how it is. That's how sports are. So,
it's you know, and it's also strange too. We tear up a lot of stuff in third stages now. And we used to just have a couple of races a year where we really tore up a lot of stuff, but I mean, I'm looking at the finishing order right now, Aric, and
the finishing order is such a mess.
Well, yeah, you get to 20, you get to 25th, and I know Brad Keselowski finished the race, but he wrecked. His car was junk, and then everybody behind him's crashed out, and it looks like a super speed. It looks like we raced at Talladega.
But that's what NASCAR wants.
I agree.
They're the best rated races were super speedway races. So NASCAR has taken that formula and applied it to every single track.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm not a fan who loves crashing. I think it's exciting when incidents happen. I don't watch races for pileups, but
I do.
I do.
I've admitted it. I know you do.
It's okay.
I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but I want to see a wreck or two.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's a reason that every local short track around here does an eve of destruction now.
Listen, when Ross Chastain backed it into the fence off of Kyle Larson's bumper, I did a fist pump. Yeah. Because I wanted to, and it felt good.
Man, that was a missed opportunity by Kyle Larson, wasn't it?
Oh man,
he was aiming for a one, but he was aiming for the double ones, not the single one.
Yeah, he could have got all 3 ones if he had played it a little bit differently. He went to the apron.
I am strongly of the belief that he was trying to spin Denny Hamlin out, or at least move him up. But I think he was trying to dump him.
He's mad at Denny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well, Denny finally admitted this week that it's a rivalry.
Yeah, and Larson even post race was very calm. And, in a very Larson way, but inside, when he's got the helmet on, he's got rage now, which I'm good with. I'm great with that.
Me too.
But I saw the funniest
Denny Hamlin's got a bunch of enemies in this one.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, the one who was least upset with him is the one that ended up in the wall.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I saw. Remember the Starcom racing car?
Yeah.
Quinn Huff. Do you remember Quinn Huff?
Yeah, I remember when Quinn Huff came, when I was the first race I did as a media member, he came out without his driver's suit to the media bullpen and nobody knew who the hell he was.
Quinn Huff. I saw a picture of a tweet that said Kyle Larson when he's I can't remember exactly the wording, but Kyle Larson most of the time, and it was him. It was him celebrating in victory lane, and then Kyle Larson when he's trying to be aggressive with somebody, and it was just him as Quinn Huff. That was really, it was like, it's pretty accurate because he wrecks a lot when he's not, when he's not doing normal Kyle Larson things.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh man, yeah, that restart. I mean, Denny, I'm surprised Denny took it as well as he did, to be honest with you. But he's got wins in the bank, so I guess, I guess he's okay with it. But yeah, that whole situation, like him battling Ross, was really good. Like that, brought up some feelings because those guys have had a rivalry. Then you have the restart, and Larson's right there, and Denny and him had already been ticked off at each other in this race. And then all hell broke loose.
There is nobody better right now to have other drivers upset at than Denny Hamlin because he's going to play the role so well.
Oh yeah, Yep. Unless you're Kyle Busch and you're just mad at NASCAR.
My
and
God.
Richard Childress.
Kyle Busch. Oh my God.
Can we talk about that for a minute? I mean, we're going every which way.
Yeah, we're all over the place just like this race was.
So that wreck we're talking about, Chastain gets into the fence.
Yep.
Kyle Busch, I mean, he at least flat spotted the tires, but looks like he didn't make contact.
He hit the wall.
Well, fair enough. But the whole field goes by, right?
Yep.
And NASCAR basically says because they asked him, I was listening to Jeff and Jordan, and they asked NASCAR this question, and they said, well, he did his job by not plowing into the door of the one and stayed off of him, so he technically wasn't part of the wreck, which I don't know. I tend to believe he was impeded by that wreck.
Yeah.
So he should have probably gone to the back. But
I'm okay with the call as long as that's how we call it.
yeah, it just seemed like, man, they gave him a lot of positions back for that.
Well, his team petitioned NASCAR because that was on Twitter that they were calling over the radio petitioning NASCAR, and NASCAR took extra laps under caution to determine where he was supposed to be.
with everybody running out of fuel.
Exactly.
Which,
so now again,
by the way,
that's according to Twitter. That's unofficial, so don't come at me if it's wrong.
And if that's true, the fuel thing became an issue because it ended up
Wrecking
ending
Kyle
Kyle's
Busch.
day. Because Kyle Larson couldn't go, and then Kyle Busch ended up in the fence.
Yeah.
So,
the thing is there is precedent for this. For anybody who's throwing a fit about it, there is precedent for this. We had it happen at Darlington last year. I forget who it was, but I think Bubba Wallace was part of it, that they gave a bunch of spots back to people that were actually in the wreck. And then we had the same thing happen at Chicago Street last year when we had the parking lot in the turn, and Harvick blocked the track to stop everybody else from driving by. They gave those spots back too. Now, different situation in both of those than what we saw on Sunday, but similar as well. So there is some precedent for NASCAR doing this. They just don't do it every time. And I think that's the issue. And maybe we just don't see it every time. I know the argument that I heard, again, unofficially, was that he, in quotes, was not part of the accident. I mean, he hit the wall. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
there were legit marks on the side of his car. He hit the wall. So how do you determine whether he was part of the accident or not?
And that's the thing, like, what's being part of the accident? Because he hit the wall because the one was in front of him.
Right.
He didn't hit the wall because he just because he wanted to. He hit the wall because there was an accident happening and he had nowhere to go.
If we're at Owasso Speedway on a Saturday night, Kyle Busch gets his spot back. But,
right. Yeah.
But that's not how NASCAR has historically called it. So I don't know.
We're going to have to keep an eye on it.
Yeah. I mean, it did in the end, and I think it was, I forget who the heck it was. Somebody on Twitter said the gods took care of it on the next restart.
The gods did take care of it. The gods did take care of it. And Kyle Busch throwing a tantrum and burning the car down while he was on the front stretch was pretty good. So
yeah. That poor dude, man. Not only that, but his teammate was also caught up in that same wreck, who has maybe worse luck than Kyle has this year.
And he was shoving John Hunter down the back straightaway sideways. Oh man, yeah. Kyle had a horrible day, and then got track position, got up there, was gonna make something of it.
He almost could have won that race.
He had an opportunity, yeah. If Larson doesn't run out of fuel,
well, the way fuel mileage was running and the way it was going, there was a possibility Kyle Busch could have won that race.
If Larson doesn't run out of gas in front of him, he's got a shot.
Yeah.
So
well, he was going to the high side.
If he had just won Atlanta, he'd be in such a happier mood,
right,
than he is right now.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I know. Poor Kyle.
As a result of the fuel strategy and everything going haywire, we did get some underdog finishers that had strong days. Obviously, we got to talk about Zayne Smith, second place finish for him.
Almost had it.
Almost won this race.
He was probably 1,000 yards away from winning that race.
Yeah. It was close. Great run for him at a time when we're going to talk about in a little bit who's looking for rides. Yep. Zayne might be on that list, so that's not going to hurt him any. You're looking for a ride.
First career top 5 for him. So
there you go. Great. I mean, and the Spire cars ran well. Period. Until.
Yeah, they were all there. They were all in the right strategy, and then the 7 broke. So LaJoie broke, and then
Carson Hocevar got in a pissing match.
Well, that was that was before he had his issues.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Hocevar should have gotten parked for a couple of laps for that.
Yeah.
They let him off the hook.
Do you think he gets fined this week? He's got to get fined this week, right?
Something should happen. I
NASCAR
don't know
said they're looking at it.
He should have been parked for 2 laps or something.
Yep. Yeah, especially when it was done the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. And the truck race, right?
Yep.
The truck race had that issue.
I
Yeah.
love Carson Hocevar. I'm the biggest Carson Hocevar fan, but somebody
Can't
needs
do
to
that.
teach this kid to stop right hooking people.
You can't do that.
Nope.
I know it's under caution, but there could have been a safety vehicle around.
Yep.
You don't know where the 21's going when you hook him like that.
Yep.
He should have been parked. I would have been okay if they would have told him to go to the garage for the
Yep.
rest of the day. I don't like that. There's no reason to do it. There's no reason to do it at top speed, and there's no reason to do it under a caution.
You
shouldn't be
should
hooking
never
people.
right hook somebody.
No, it's unacceptable.
That
Unless it's an accident,
Yeah.
obviously those things happen, but you should never intentionally hook somebody.
Right. Yeah, I don't
can't-
know. I was surprised he didn't get parked. I was surprised
When
he
I
didn't get
saw that
penalized.
happen, I was like, I can't believe he didn't. I was expecting him to be sitting on pit road for a couple of laps.
Yeah.
I'd go as far as to say they should park him at the start of the race this week and make him sit there until the field goes by and then send him out.
Yeah. I don't
To be
know.
honest with you,
I think he gets a fine. I think he gets fined Wednesday. We'll
he
find
should.
out.
Yeah, he should. But that'd be fine too.
Other underdogs that had strong days. Daniel Hemric finishes 9th. Noah Gragson, we mentioned him, 10th place finish for him. AJ Almendinger, 11th.
AJ Almendinger was in the hunt.
Yes, he was.
He was in the hunt.
Justin Hailie, 13th.
Somehow. I don't know where he came from. I don't know where he came from.
So,
Austin Cindric started this whole mess and he ended up 15th.
yeah.
I don't forget.
Um,
Chase Briscoe, we should
Yes.
shout him out. He was in there, but just he didn't have the fuel,
Yeah.
which is funny because he had 2 laps more fuel than Logano.
Right.
Good Lord. How did Joey? We didn't talk about this. How did Joey do it?
Well, they said on the teardown, right, that he was slow.
That's right.
He was so slow that he was able to save the fuel.
Wasn't that Rudy Fugel who said that?
I think so.
I think it was one of the Hendrick. No, it was Gabe Hart.
Yeah, you're
Gabe
right.
Hart said
You're
that.
right. You're right.
Gabe Hart said that. Gabe Hart said, yeah, he's slow. So,
Yeah.
of course, he's going to save fuel.
I definitely wanted to come back to Joey Logano. So, first of all, yeah, I mean, I saw some tweets that Smokey Unick would be proud of Joey Logano's finish on Sunday because they figured something out, man. If there's space for extra fuel in that car somewhere, that car had it. That's for sure.
Yeah, somehow he passed post race. So
Yeah, he even made it back around to do part of a burnout before he ran out. So,
It's unbelievable.
but I mean, this is a big deal. Joey Logano's locked in the playoffs now with the win.
Yep.
Solidifies himself in the race, and we've still got a few races to go before the end of the season, James, and
Yep.
we're starting to get tight. There's only 4 more spots left for wins in the 16.
Hard to believe that, right?
Right, and there's guys on the outside looking in that could very easily. I mean, I'm looking at the 4 that are outside looking in right now. And Bubba Wallace could certainly get a win.
Bubba was up there late.
Yep. Chase Briscoe has been running great.
Josh Berry.
Josh Berry's been running great. Kyle Busch, you can never count out, right?
No, he'll find somewhere. He's won a race for 19 straight seasons.
Yeah.
So take that for what it's worth.
So you got all 4 of those guys, and then the guys that are in that haven't won, you got Ty Gibbs, which we've been calling for him to win for 2 years now.
Yep. And Truex, but Truex is so far up there. I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Truex. Truex is up there. So I
I'm
guess
not
we
really
got
worried.
5. We got 5.
Yeah, Truex is, but he's way up.
Truex is
there.
in. Truex is in.
Yeah, he's fine.
We got Ross Chastain, which we know he can win.
He could have won this week.
Yep. We got Chris Buescher, which obviously he did it last
He'll
year.
probably win Michigan.
Yeah. And then you got Alex Bowman, which again, I mean, he was right there all of a sudden at the end of this one.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of faith in Bowman, but yeah, he can win.
his races that he wins are the ones where he comes out of nowhere. So,
No, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and we got
Yep.
Pocono coming. He's good at Pocono. Got to
Yes,
win there.
he'll be good. Yep, he'll be good at Pocono. Yep.
So, I mean, there is a lot of room yet for people to get their way in this thing.
Well, the ones who, I mean, Suarez and Cindric having wins, that really is that's the cut right there, because those guys are below the 16th
Yep.
place points position, so they're they're the ones who've stolen positions. So, but Joey Logano's not too far off. He wasn't having the greatest season ever. So
Right.
but yeah, I mean, there's guys, unless Chris Bell continues to stay hot, because even though he wrecked, I mean, he's still running pretty hot. So
Would
we'll see.
would you have guessed that the first team with all of their cars with a win this season would be Penske.
No, and they did it in the last month.
Right?
It's ridiculous. No, I wouldn't have.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, they have had a heck of a run.
Yep.
And they shouldn't have all three of one because Blaney should have two of them, but neither here nor there. That's a Penske win. So,
yep.
They're now they have yet again, they've won the last two championships, but yet again, now Penske has time to fool around and play and make sure that they can make something happen. So,
yep. Work on that track that they're already good at.
Yep. Exactly.
Can never count those guys out, that's for sure.
No, I know. They're going to win the championship again. We'll see. We're going to find out.
15 cautions for 79 laps in this one, most in the third stage. We did have lightning and rain. Once again, credit to the Toyota Tundra track drying crew. Basically an hour to dry a mile in third track. I mean, that was unheard of 10 years ago. It's just incredible that they can do that now. When they dry Michigan in an hour and a half, it always fascinates me. It's just crazy.
I know.
Probably also helped that it was hotter than the gates of hell at Nashville this week. So, and I don't think Nashville gets the humidity
and
that
concrete.
We get up here. Yeah, concrete too.
Concrete helps.
Yeah. So, Joey Logano gets his 33rd victory, 562 Cup Series races. Not too shabby there. Tyler Reddick. Let's talk about Tyler Reddick. He finished third, and he was pissed after the race. He was very upset with himself.
Yeah, I don't know why he was so. I think he was mad because he felt like he left something to be had.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But
he's
in
already.
Joey was aero blocking pretty. Yeah, there's not much you can do when the car in front. We saw this with Hamlin and Chastain, that battle. I mean, Chastain was blocking like mad.
Yeah,
and there's not a whole lot you can do unless you kind of meticulously grind them down, and Tyler just didn't have the time.
No, there wasn't enough time there to do it.
Well, and if he had more time, Joey would have run out of gas. There's not much you can do.
Yeah,
I don't know why he was so hard on himself, but I get it. He wants to win. It's. I mean, I love that for him.
Yeah,
I love that he's hungry.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
I mean, that's Reddick's been like that before. He's definitely one of those guys. And when he gets a taste, if he's up there in top three, he's not happy if he's not in victory lane. So
yeah.
Zayne Smith was our highest finishing rookie in second place. Kyle Larson, your points leader, 20 points over Chase Elliott. There you go.
So much for missing the 600.
Right?
Just fine.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just fine. Chase Elliott continued his top 20 streak, by the way.
There you go.
Even though he crashed with on the last lap, he just stayed in the gas and got there. So
yeah, he finished in the trial, though, right, in the grass.
Yeah, he was
took a shortcut.
Hammer down. Yep,
shortcut.
He was hammer down. Yep.
Good thing that timing line goes all the way across, right?
I can't remember what the streak is, but it's the longest since 91, I think, or something with Ricky Rudd. It's I don't know, it's some ridiculous top 20 streak. You can find it online.
I don't know.
It's out there.
He won't be celebrating by going to Hooters. I know that.
Oh, bummer.
We'll get there.
We always have the win. We always have the win.
NASCAR Xfinity Series was in action the day before the Tennessee Lottery 250. Hunter Nemecheck gets the win, leading 76 laps. And this one, only 3 drivers led laps. Ty Gibbs led 46. I can't read my screen. 48. 64 laps led by Cole Custer. And, of course, Hunter Nemecheck leads and gets the win.
Who wrecked Ty Gibbs? Wasn't it?
I don't remember who did wreck Ty Gibbs. I know he got wrecked, but I can't remember.
He spun off the front of somebody.
Yeah.
And then he was not happy about it.
Yeah, we're so bad at this. I don't know. I don't remember who wrecked him, but
there's so much going on. That race on Sunday took all my capacity.
I know, man. It's funny because I remember very little of this and the truck race, and I watched both of them all the way through, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, Ty Gibbs doesn't get a lot of respect, but he doesn't give a lot of respect in the series either. So.
Yeah, he's having a tough go of it this year.
He's really a different driver in the Cup Series than he is in the Xfinity Series because he's overly aggressive and still the old Ty Gibbs in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah.
But in the Cup Series, he behaves himself. So, for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
That or he's far enough back that we don't see it all the time, but either way.
He's usually up there somewhere.
Yeah, he's usually not doing too bad.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't really know what to talk about with this one. I guess I just wanted to hit on it, but I wanted to talk about, and this was before news broke today. I wanted to talk about Hailie Deegan, James, because
oh boy,
I've been seeing lots of things pop up about Hailie Deegan doubting her ability, which of course always happens for the females. So I wanted to ask you before we got the announcement that she's getting replaced this week, if is this a Hailie Deegan problem? Is this a team problem? Are people being too hard on her? Does she deserve the criticism she's getting right now? What do you think?
I think the criticism is fair. I hesitate though because Hailie has shown us some flashes.
Right.
So it's not. I think there's a lack of confidence going on, which we've seen before, and we see it with drivers who tend to move up a little too soon, or they're not in the right place.
Right.
You know what I mean? Something's going on there with Hailie where she's just not. I mean, we've seen her race well in a handful of like events, Aric. Like she's won,
right
in the ARCA. What was it, ARCA West?
Yeah, and it was. I mean, to be fair, it was a lot less competitive then than I think it is even now.
Yeah.
But I mean, she did win, but she didn't impress much in the Thor Sport truck, and we made a lot of excuses for her because of where she was running in the pack. But other people were running those trucks and not running in that part of the pack. So, I mean, it's hard when half the field is Thor Sport trucks, but still. She went up to Xfinity, tried Xfinity, looked really, really good, and then came to this team, which had no proven track record whatsoever. And I think the team will argue that they're kind of lost too, which is why we found out today that Joey Logano will be running that car at the street course at Chicago.
Which I don't understand this, by the way, either, because what is Joey Logano on the street course going to tell them?
Well, I think it probably has to do with Joey Logano shopping for a ride that he can run the street course a day early,
of course,
and get more experience
in a Ford seat.
A Ford seat with a team that's going, you know what, we need to figure something out and see if our equipment sucks or if it's the driver.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a bunch of things coming at the right time that made it this race. Not to mention, you've got a driver who's struggling. You really want to put her on a street course? Let's not tear the car up on this track that's got walls literally on each side of it all the way around it. Let's finish a race with Joey.
Yeah,
so.
and Hailie's, she's shown us flashes. She's very young.
Yes. Well, I wanted to argue, James, that Hailie didn't come into the Cup Series or in a Cup Series, in a NASCAR, like someone like Danica Patrick. Danica came in and whether there were expectations specifically or not, there were expectations for Danica to come in, get where she needed to be, and to win.
Right.
Hailie didn't. Some of us put those expectations on her, yes, but I don't think that her camp had those expectations. Her camp came in with, when Ricky Carmichael was coming up, it was that type of thing that they're going to come in here, they're going to get some experience and work their way up, and she's gotten the extra attention because she's a female and because she's a Deegan. So I think a little bit of that's unfair that maybe we give her too much criticism because nobody's expecting her to go out and win every week or run even top 10, top 5 every week, but we all are expecting her to do it. So,
well, and it wasn't that long ago. She was in a really strong ARCA program.
Yeah.
She ran an entire season and ran every single lap.
Yeah.
Like never DNF'd, ran every single lap the entire season. Except for I think she had one crash, or maybe one parts failure, something like that. But basically, she was out there for the most part the entire season in 2020. Had a bunch of top 10s. Was like, okay, there's something there. I mean, she's making some progress. And then the Truck Series, she just kind of stalled out a little bit. But again, she's shown us flashes, so I hate to give up on somebody who's 22 years old.
Right.
If she was 25, I'd say, okay.
Right.
Maybe.
She's in the Xfinity Series for a backmarker team. Like, what are we expecting out of her?
She needs more reps. She just needs to keep getting reps.
Yep.
That's what's important.
James, I do, and I'm not making excuses for her. I'm not making excuses for people like Natalie Decker or Danica Patrick or any of those. But there's a certain level of this is a female. For the other drivers, this is a female. We're not going to cut her any slack. We're going to run her as hard as we can run her. And if we wreck her, what's she going to do? Come fight us? That's the thing. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'd be worried about Brian coming over and whooping my ass. But, I I don't think that I don't think they get a fair shake as it is as far into the future as we are compared to days of Patty Moise and
Yeah.
It's still
she's good on short tracks. I think that's something people forget about.
Yeah.
And
if there were a few more bull rings in the Xfinity series, she might have a shot.
And an example of that though was when she was doing SRX.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
She like got the attention of those guys out there, and
that's
I
true.
know,
SRX was a strong reason why she got the opportunity she got.
Yeah, and she raced, and those cars were quote unquote they were built equally, right?
Right.
And she went toe to toe. I know those guys were older, and there was a mixed bag, but there was she had times where she was up there in the hunt.
That's true.
I remember her racing Denny Hamlin very, very well. So I don't give up on her and don't be too hard on her. But yeah, some of it's it's warranted yet, but let's keep the big picture in mind. She's still just a kid.
Good. You brought me back down to earth, James. Good. I appreciate that.
Good.
Thank you.
I'm glad. Good.
Thank you.
Good. Mission accomplished.
Hunter Nemecheck got his 11th victory in 109 NASCAR Xfinity Series races. Highest finishing rookie was Jesse Love in third place.
Jesse Love.
I don't have the point standings here. Cole Custer's leading the points by...
Cole Custer is up by 19.
There you go. Over Chandler Smith. Cole Custer, of course, doesn't have the win, but leading the point standings. His teammate doesn't have a win either up there in the up top, fifth place, Riley Herbst. So both of those guys could be, we're going to talk about them both in a little bit.
We'll talk about it in a minute. Yeah.
So there you go. There's your Xfinity Series. The Craftsman Truck Series was in action on Friday night. Once again, when the Craftsman Truck Series should be racing. Christian Eckes gets the win in the Truck Series, leads all 150 laps of the 150 lap race.
There's literally nothing to talk about.
No, there really isn't. There really isn't.
He just dominated.
Yeah. I mean, it was a race for second, the entire race.
Clint Boyer was in this race.
Yeah, Clint Boyer was in this race. He got jacked up on the restart when they were Jimmy jacking, I think was what his line was, wasn't it?
Sounded like he had fun.
Yeah. Said he's coming back, said he's not going out that way, so that's good.
Yeah, well, he should. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Clint. I like Clint in the car. This is good
race,
for him.
Yeah. Every once in a while, get him out there.
Have him do the Dale Jr. thing and run a couple of races a year in the Truck Series or the Xfinity Series. It's perfect.
Also in this race, Frankie Muniz.
Yeah, I completely forgot about him until they talked about him parked on pit road.
Yep.
31st was his finish. Is that his first Truck Series race?
Was it his first career Truck Series? I don't think so. I think he's
done
the truck.
I think you're
before.
right.
Hold
I
on.
think he's done it before.
Hold on, I'm looking at his numbers. No, it was. It was his first truck race. No, he's got 2 Xfinity Series starts. So that was his first.
Oh,
truck
that's right.
start.
Okay.
Yep.
Daniel Dye, second place finish. Strong day for him. 4th and 5th in the first 2 stages.
Yep. Raja, he was up there.
Yeah, Raja.
Well, yeah,
continues to impress. But
again, great race, but you got nothing for the 19. He kicked everybody's butt.
Yeah. Just give him the trophy and just end the season early.
Yeah, I know. The trucks came back after a month's hiatus and same old thing. So
yeah. 8th victory in 104 Craftsman Truck Series races for Christian Eckes. Lane Riggs, highest finishing rookie in 25th in this one. And point standings, Christian Eckes still your points leader. I can't read this stupid thing. 40 points over Corey Heim. And Nick Sanchez ran the backup truck with the limited paint scheme after wrecking in practice. So,
I love that. That's the new wrinkle in the sport.
Right?
When you wreck a car, the primary just looks like it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and is the rule in the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series that they can't be wrapped as well when they come?
I think so. Yeah,
I know that's the rule in the Cup Series. The Cup Series, they're not wrapped in the trailer.
Shane Van Gisbergen had that happen. He had a really nice looking Kubota scheme, and it got wrecked, so it was white.
Yeah.
After that.
Well, there you go. There's your races for the weekend. James's favorite weekend of the year is coming up. We'll preview Chicago here in a minute. But let's talk some news, James. It's a Monday. We still got some stuff to talk about.
Let's go.
We found out late last week there were some rumblings starting on the Twitters and on the social media about where'd Aric Almirola go? Why have we not seen Aric Almirola? He was supposed to race Charlotte in the Xfinity Series. He suddenly was replaced by Ty Gibbs, and then we haven't seen him. He's supposed to run like 20 races this year, and he hasn't run any.
Yeah, and then Chris Bell won in his race car at New Hampshire.
Yeah. And then comes out this week that apparently he was suspended internally by JGR for an altercation with Bubba Wallace during a competition meeting before Charlotte. Huh.
Boy, I wish I could have seen that.
No kidding, right?
What did he do?
I don't know.
Man, Bubba won't talk about it. Nobody's talking about it.
Bubba was very, very coy about when he was questioned this weekend.
He didn't have any black eyes or anything.
No.
So
No.
Eric's lucky to have a job, it sounds like.
You weren't kidding. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, interesting because you don't usually hear about this type of stuff, but obviously it was bad enough for old Joe to sit him down.
Well, Eric and Bubba haven't gotten along.
That's true.
They have a history. There was a pit road incident 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Eric came at him that too. So
yeah, that's true.
I wonder what Bubba said. That's the thing. Like, I know I'm doing assumptions, but what did Bubba say to him? Because Bubba said something to him.
Oh yeah, Bubba's mouthy.
Something got said.
Definitely.
Bubba was pretty proud of himself though in the press conference. Yeah. He was like, "Oh, I'm good. Everything's great." Yeah. He's
really he's an uncomfortable person to interview because if he doesn't want to talk about what you're asking him about, he will just go a different direction and he will make you feel foolish. Because I did it at Michigan when he was taking photos the day before the Cup race, and I asked him about it, and he didn't want to talk about it, and he just kind of went around the bush on it and made me feel stupid. It's like, oh, thanks, Bubba, appreciate it.
When we were there a few years ago and he won that truck race, he was all sorts of giddy because he was all happy. And he was beaming the whole time. Yeah. So he wasn't hard to interview that day.
Right.
Remember he came into the media center. He just started yelling at all the journalists, just sitting there quietly, like we all need to be excited. I'm like, Bubba, we didn't win the race,
right,
man.
Just to be clear, I was not criticizing Bubba Wallace. I don't want to get lumped into that group. Yeah. Not criticizing. I love Bubba. I absolutely love him. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. I love Bubba. Yeah. So he's a good dude. He's tough to interview if he doesn't want to talk.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see if Aric comes back. He's supposed to.
Supposed to be back in Indy. So.
Yeah. Well, let's find out.
We shall see.
This is a 1-year deal.
Yeah. You know who's not coming back?
Go ahead.
Hooters.
No.
Hooters is out. Get their
bummer.
The second sponsor that Chase Elliott kills with a win.
Yeah.
So, Sun Energy, I think, was the other one. Is that what it is?
Yep, he killed off Sun. Well, it's Sun Energy. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But Hooters closing restaurants down and stuff, so it's not surprising.
Are we going to lose our local Hooters?
I don't know.
I hope not. Even though I haven't been there in over a decade.
Yeah, you're not missing anything, that's for sure.
There's nothing to have at Hooters. There's not.
No, the food's not good, and the
watch it.
No, I'm trying to. The environment is so 1990s.
The environment.
It just, I mean, it really the inside. It feels like you're stepping into a time machine and going back to when that stuff was okay.
When I was in high school and early years of college, I put down some Hooters. I mean, it was my favorite place. I remember vividly watching, which I hated, the Detroit Pistons, because obviously I was a Lakers fan back in the day, but I remember the Pistons because they were really good and everybody would go to Hooters, and man, me and my buddy Brad, we would eat so many wings. Oh my God.
See, most of my Hooters experience comes from the old Bay City Hooters, which has been closed for a long time.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And the old Saginaw location. I've only been in the new location a couple times.
Yeah. Well, that's right by my office. So.
Yeah. You're probably there for lunch every day, huh?
No.
I won't tell Aaron.
No,
okay.
I haven't gone there. I mean it. I haven't gone there in many years.
We took the boys there a couple times and they finally figured out why it's called Hooters.
How did that go?
Oh, it was entertaining. They were too young to really get it. If we took them now, it'd be
they're probably a problem now. Yeah,
they would just sit there and giggle the whole time now.
Yeah.
When I had a buddy that we used to
I love the idea of that.
Yeah, we used to take our buddy. He'd take his kid, and his kid was like, I don't know, 6 or 8 or something like that. and they'd buy a white shirt, a Hooters shirt, every time they go, and a Sharpie, and make them go get signatures from all the girls.
Oh my God.
My cousin had his 6th birthday party there. Yeah.
Shut the episode down.
Yeah. There you go.
6th birthday party.
6th birthday party at Hooters. So he was born on Friday the 13th too, if that tells you anything. But anyway.
Oh man.
Yeah. So Hooters is
really
out. Hemric issued a statement saying basically they've been unable to meet their obligations. Sounds like there've been rumblings that they weren't making payments, and Hemric finally kicked them to the curb. So bummer.
Yeah,
I mean, it's to me, again, I mean, we sit there and joke about it, but Hooters has never really been one of those places for me that I'm like really attached to, except that they were a Kawicki sponsor, and that was, a big part of NASCAR back in the day. But yeah, it's a bummer. All this stuff, when these businesses close down, they've been around forever. Even if they're haven't kept up with the times, it still sucks. So
we always have Alan Kawicki's championship.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
I'll never forget the Racing Champions car that Racing Champions used to have the little driver card with them, and Kawicki's had him with the trophy and smoke around the car and about 8 Hooters girls standing around. So when I was 10 years old, that was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I cherish that card.
I love that race car.
Yeah, the Hooters scheme was a good scheme, man.
Oh, yeah.
Hooters has had some good schemes. They sponsored the Pro Cup Series too, back in the day.
Yep. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yep.
So they're a big part of motorsports. Unfortunately, we lost the owner. Right, went down in the plane with Kawicki.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Paul Andrews talked about it too. That that plane was a perk from Hooters.
Yep.
For that championship. So anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. Bummer. Let's talk some drivers in silly season, James, because there's all kinds of stuff. We'll start off with Riley Herbst, who says he has options in all 3 series next season.
We'll see about that. Well, he's got backing.
Yeah, he does.
So he'll drive somewhere.
Yep. So Bob Pockrass put out a story this week on Fox Sports, breaking down kind of where he believes everyone's going next season and what's on the hook. Some interesting things, some drivers not signed for next season. Some of these we have talked about. Some of them are kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot about him. Bubba Wallace is not signed for next year. That being said, we expect him to come back. There's no reason to believe he's going anywhere else.
Yeah, he's fine. I think he'll be fine.
Austin Cindric, we knew that. Obviously the win and family connection to the team probably keeps him pretty solid at Penske, I would think. That's what Bob believes. Daniel Suarez, again, we expect him to be back. Bob does as well, so not really expecting anything on that front. Erik Jones, though, and there's some question whether he might look for something. He might have some options.
Hey,
what do you think?
If that team's not performing, I'd love to see him move up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of depends on whether he's committed for the long haul over there and sees some upswing or gets an offer somewhere. There's not a bunch of like, oh my God, these rides are amazing rides. But when you're running over at Legacy and not doing anything, you might look at something like Front Row and go, ooh, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, his career, every year is another year of like, okay, how much longer can we continue to just try to build?
Yep.
Eventually you run out of building years. You gotta...
Yeah. Eventually become Kyle Petty.
I'll always root for him, but yep.
So
yep, you said it.
Daniel Hemric is unsigned for next season. That will likely come down to sponsorship, according to Bob. And then
he'll find a place.
Yeah, more than likely. Harrison Burton also, and he's not expected to return. And apparently Josh Berry.
He'll.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say Harrison Burton. He'll be in an Xfinity Series car somewhere.
Yeah, more than likely.
Or he's gonna do the John Hunter and go back to trucks even.
Right.
He's got to go back down.
Josh Berry's leading candidate for that ride right now.
Sounds like that's very close.
Yes, that's what it sounds like. And then other question marks from Bob. Third Trackhouse car. We've talked about this a bunch. Likely Shane Van Gisbergen or Zayne Smith. Zayne Smith's strong performance this week might have helped. Do we give Van Gisbergen another year in the Xfinity Series, or do we move him up to Cup? What do you think? Is Van Gisbergen ready to come to Cup Series next year?
I think you got to give these guys, put them in the seat that matters.
Yeah.
At this point. So, yeah.
That's why he came here,
I
right?
think that's the move. Yeah, and you got to give him track time, and the Xfinity car is not going to do that much for him.
No.
So get him on the ovals in the Cup car, and let's go. You know, that's, we're going to talk about him this week because he's going to, he's going back home. So,
yeah,
where he got the job done. So we're going to find out.
But,
yeah, you put him in a car, you get a chance at the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the AJ Almendinger thing. So.
Yep. Richard Childress Racing, third car. There was discussions about that they might acquire a charter. Not looking like that's going to happen now that we got the Haas factory team, but still possible.
Can't afford to run the only two they have.
Right. If they do, Bob says probably Noah Gragson or Austin Hill, looking at the opportunities for that ride. Mentioned Haas factory team. Bob's pretty confident it's going to be Cole Custer. Yeah. I'd be surprised if it's not, but I had heard that he wasn't the shoe-in, so we'll see.
Yeah, he's going to be.
Yeah. Front Row Motorsports. This is an interesting one. 2 seats to fill. Possible opportunities there. Noah Gragson, Josh Berry, Sam Mayer, or Christian Eckes. Gragson, leading candidate for one of those seats. But that leaves one open. Who gets the other ride? Who gets the other spot?
I don't know about that one. I ain't got a good feel for that situation.
Sam Mayer has been pretty adamant that he's ready. I don't know that he is.
Yeah.
He's doing well, but is he doing good enough in junior motorsports equipment to make the jump right now? I think he could use another year in Xfinity.
Probably.
He goes and lights the world on fire the rest of the season and wins a championship, then I'm going to say something different. But right now, I don't think he's ready. I
like Gragson to slide over there because you're getting a guy who's got the seat time. If you go with Mayer or Eckes, you're starting from scratch. Yeah. So that's a little bit more tough.
I'd be shocked if we don't see Gragson over there. I think the only way you don't see Gragson over there is Josh Berry doesn't go to the 21, and then maybe see Gragson go there.
Right.
Rick Ware Racing, the number 15. We have no clue what's going on with that. That could likely be sponsorship. Whoever brings some money will get that ride.
Sounds like Justin Haley's going to be sticking around too.
Yeah, Haley's got another year on his contract. So unless he has an out, he's there, and he said he's staying.
And he was floating around like he might move, but I don't think he doesn't look like he can. So.
Yep. And then Colleague has the 16 car, which is a rotating ride right now. Could continue to be a rotating seat. Could be AJ Almendinger again next year. Sponsorship again, likely going to choose what happens with that ride. So,
right. Yep.
There you go. That's silly season in a nutshell right now. Thanks to Bob.
Musical chairs it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So lots to be decided yet. Still a lot of places to go, especially with that Stuart Haas team shutting down. You got 3 drivers, 2 still that we don't know where they're going. 3 technically, I guess.
We know where Chase Briscoe's going.
Yeah. Chase is set. So
Chase is good to go.
Checkered flags, James. Any checkered flags from you this week?
Oh, kind of on brand, off brand, but we mention him from time to time. Derek Winter sang the national anthem at a Atlanta United soccer game.
Oh, nice.
In front of like 30,000 people.
That's crazy.
So I wanted to shout him out.
Nice.
It's like I saw that he was doing it, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then he showed the video from the actual event, and that Mercedes-Benz stadium was completely packed.
That's wild.
It was amazing, and people were singing along with him. It was pretty cool. So, anyway, yeah,
cool.
I thought I'd share that. There's a checkered flag there for me.
Good for him. That's cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Mine is a Facebook page that I found this week. Somebody shared something, and I got a chuckle and immediately followed this page. It's Weber Valley Speedway. Are you familiar with Weber Valley Speedway, James?
I haven't seen this. No.
From my understanding, I haven't done a lot of research, but it's basically a parody site. I don't think there's an actual racetrack. They just post random funny stuff. Let me see if I can find something that's appropriate, because it's not always appropriate.
Oh, no.
Let's see. I will not read from the very first post.
Is it Weaverts?
No, it's Weber. W-E-A-B-E-R.
Weber Valley. Okay.
Yes.
Weber.
So
okay,
here's 5 hours ago. Event added for this weekend. Pit bite racists. They spell everything wrong. on the old go-kart track. Must be over 300 pounds. This is something fun for the heavy folks that don't always get to do stuff because they're fat. $50 to win with a $30 entree. Yeah, it's just random stuff like that. It's just stupid crap. It's a spoof on the type of stuff you see at any short tracks Facebook page, except
That's
that
great.
it's funny.
That's good.
So I stumbled across that. Like I said, a lot of it's not appropriate. So, follow it as you will. Let's see. There's a picture of a toilet sitting outside of the corner, precariously close to the racetrack. There's a sign behind it that says "Lick us on Facebook." Bill Pugh Septic saw our portal potty problems and generously donated a new to us commode for the fans this weekend. Don't worry, there's a wall behind it and weeds that blocks people from seeing you use it, so no privacy problems.
This does sound like an actual short track. Yeah.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. I won't read
especially
anymore.
If you've worked at a short track.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
yeah,
or
funny.
worked on their social media, James, right?
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that before. Not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had to shout them out because I got a good chuckle out of it and been following them all
Oh
week.
my
So
God.
good stuff. How about black flags? Any black flags, James?
Oh boy, I always have a hard time with the black flag.
I know, I do too, but as soon as I take it out, as soon as we stop doing it, then I have like 10.
Right, I know.
Just give mine to Carson Hocevar this week. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, we can share that one because that was bad. I was gonna go another direction, but after thinking about it for a day, I don't want to.
All right, sounds good.
We'll do Carson Hocevar.
There you go. The short track cornered short this week. Not much to discuss. Just a couple previews. The Jag CRA All-Star Tour is in action Saturday night at Whittemore Speedway for their big 4th of July show. I'll be out there shooting that. The Reveal the Hammer Super Late Model Series is at Berlin Raceway on Saturday as well. That'll be a good show. Reveal the Hammer is great. So if you're down in that part of the state and not planning on making the trip up to Whittemore, go check that out. But the CRA All-Stars have not been to Whittemore Speedway before. That's the first time they've been to Whittemore Speedway, and it's the first regional touring series to race there at Whittemore Speedway. So big weekend. They're excited about that. So
And you're going, right?
yeah, I'll be there.
Oh yeah,
So,
perfect.
Be down standing in the middle of the racetrack taking pictures because there's no other place to shoot at Whittemore. You can't stand outside the track and shoot.
I've been by Whittemore a million times. I've always wanted to get over there.
Have you
I
never
just
gone there?
do. No, never been to a race there. I
It's
drive by it all the time.
Little high bank quarter mile. There's going to be some contact on Saturday night for sure.
Ugh.
There's only a wall on the front stretch. Everywhere else you can go right off the banking. So it's
Perfect.
It'll be fun. It'll be a good race. I'm curious how they're going to pit them because they do have a pit road usually, and they're going to have to pit them outside the track. So I don't know quite how that's going to work, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
There you go. And with that, James, it is your favorite weekend of the year. We are going
Yes,
to
it is.
Chicago Street this weekend. The NASCAR Cup Series in action on Sunday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. It's the Grant Park 165. NASCAR Xfinity Series in action on Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. The Loop 110. No rain in the forecast this weekend, so fingers crossed that we don't get
Thank God.
washed out again. No 1,000-year storms this weekend. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series off until July 12th when they go to Pocono.
Jeez.
I get first pick this week, James.
Back for a week and gone again.
Yeah.
Like a fart in the wind. The
Right.
NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
So the easy pick this weekend is to go with Shane Van Gisbergen, and I'm not going to do that because I don't think he's going to win this weekend, James. I think
He probably won't.
I think everything
probably
was
won't.
stacked in his favor last year. I don't think it happens this year. I'm gonna take a long shot here. It doesn't seem like a long shot because he finished second, but I'm gonna take him anyway. I'm gonna go Justin Haley as my pick this weekend.
Good call. Yeah, I have him on my fantasy team somewhere. Yeah.
There you go.
I
And I mostly did that because I didn't want to pick Chase Elliott 2 weeks in a row.
probably should double check the entry list before I make my pick.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't. You should have been ready. Damn it.
I know. AJ Almendinger is racing, I believe. So
Yeah, I think so.
I better just double check that though, shouldn't I? Yeah, he's in. Okay,
You taking AJ?
AJ. Yeah, AJ.
He's gonna wreck.
You better not.
He will.
Tyler Reddick's going to be good.
Yes,
Reddick
will be good.
This is tough.
It's going to be interesting because it should be dry, and that will make a big difference.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're not going to be able to use anything from last year's race to know what we're going to see this weekend.
No.
Period.
No. I do know the Hendrick cars will be formidable.
Yeah.
Byron, I really do think Byron and Larson should be good.
I had Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson at the top of my list, but I didn't want to pick that easily. I wanted to go with somebody that was a bit more of a long shot. So, but I'm looking forward to it, James. I know you're not a fan of the Chicago street thing, but I think this is pretty cool. I think it's a cool deal. There's nothing neater than seeing the cars on the streets of Chicago. I'm all in. I'm all in for it.
I mean, I'm currently still fighting this battle, but it's here, so I'm gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be a race. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna dream fondly of Chicagoland Speedway.
Well, that's the only reason I don't like it is because we lost Chicagoland for it. If we could just have Chicagoland and a street course, I'd be happy. But
if it's a complete disaster, we'll never have to do it again. But I don't want that. I don't want a complete disaster.
No, we don't want to get on here and talk about it.
I'm not rooting for that. I want to watch a good race. So
it's going to be a good race.
Hopefully they got the bugs worked out.
This will be a good one. Everybody should get to enjoy their concerts this weekend. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Fantasy League. How'd Fantasy League go? We were talking about it beforehand, and you didn't give me any info, so I don't even know how I did because I didn't look. I'm sure it wasn't good.
Yeah, well, Cole Custer's Last Stand got the win.
Nice.
I was
unlike
second.
the actual Cole Custer who hasn't won yet this year. Cole Custer's Last Stand.
Yeah, Cole Custer's Last Stand. He gets lots of wins.
Yeah, he does.
But everybody was bad. Nobody had 200 points. So whenever you see a score that's weak with nobody with 200 points, you knew that was a wild race.
Right.
So Cole Custer's Last Stand wins. I was second. Hendrick Flair was third. Eric, you were tied for sixth with my frenemy, Watermelon James.
Oh, awesome.
So I beat Watermelon James again, which is good. Good for me. I need to keep doing that. Overall standings, Smoking Grill Racing. He had a rough day, like everybody else. But he's still first. Team Justin second. Cole Custer's third. Eric, I am sixth, and you are eighth with Hendrick Flair right in between us. So, look out for some people who have been in the hunt before. Green Eggs and Hamlin and Ranger, they're right there as well. We're all under a blanket yet. It's not nobody's pulling away with this thing yet. So, our top three are all at 3,600 points or better. So, they're pretty close. All pretty close. Anybody's championship yet? Long way to go.
You know why we had so much trouble with top drivers this week, James, is because I went all in. I'm like, I only got 3 starts left for this person, but screw it. I'm putting them up. I'm going to have a good week. And then, of course, they all wreck or run out of gas. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, everybody did that. Yeah. Yeah.
Waste of a weekend once again.
I know.
Well, James, where can people find you on social media if they want to chat with you during the week?
At James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/TheSuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio. Subscribe wherever you found us for new episodes each and every week. And if you go to anchor.fm/TheSuperspeedway, you can leave us an audio message, and we might just play it on the show. Chicago, the city of Chicago, the streets of Chicago this weekend. The NASCAR Cup Series in action on Sunday. The Grant Park 165, the Xfinity Series will take to the track in the Loop 110 on Saturday. We'll be back next week to break it all down. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.